Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So with the vaccine on the horizon and travel finally becoming a thing again, I started thinking about my time back in Europe. What was it like? What was the traveling like? Have you ever been there? Would you be fine with paying a $20 fee for crossing the border from Germany to Switzerland? I don't know. But I'm going to answer some of those questions today in this video. This video is about what I learned from living in Europe for 20 years. Alright, so let's get a little bit real here. The serenity of breaks is so unparalleled for Europe. Naps and rest time are taken extremely seriously over there. Riposo and siesta and more. These breaks in Italy and Spain are probably the more well-known ones around the world. Generally taken between noon and 3 o'clock. These ones are probably the times when you don't really want to mow your lawn because they'll probably scream at you. Even so, those are probably regarded more for the suburbs and other small villages and not really the business areas in the cities. When I was in Italy, I was lucky enough to work in the island off of Italy called Sardinia. And so for us, me and my coworkers, we would not even bother to go into the office to kind of coordinate with our Italian counterparts because there would be no point, so we would go in at a later time, after their espresso morning, but hey, at least I got paid. So second languages are kind of necessary there. Maybe it's the fact that rooted in the history of Germany and France being one of the pillars of the English language back in 1066 with the invasion and conquer of England from that one French king is why so many students choose but are also kind of required to study it. Also with the similar alphabet, of course, it's relatively easy for students in Europe to kind of learn English. And not to mention, it's also a great growing opportunity they feel from their eyes to kind of go abroad and kind of get your feet wet, So cafeteria highway stops are also necessary. Yes, I am complaining on the fast food industry in America. There should not be only 90% of the options on the highway are for fast food.
Why? Why does it have to be like that? Why?
Germany has these delicious cafeteria facilities with all these different great healthy, maybe not healthy, but certainly a lot more delicious than fast food, and at least a little bit healthy. They have potatoes, they'll have different meat options, they'll have of course bread, they'll have vegetables, they'll have pasta. It's a great wholesome option instead of just, I'm not gonna name names, but you know who I'm talking about. And also, even though there are probably the same amount of, I'm going to say, McDonald's in Germany as there are in America, America probably has Germany and Italy outnumbered for fast food in general. Drinking alcohol is kind of a much more ingrained way of life in Europe, as I'm sure everyone has heard from before. I mean, you've heard of the stories before of the French wine, the German beer, the Italian Prosecco, the Spanish sangria. So it's really not that big of a surprise that Europeans, on majority I feel, see alcohol as more of a relaxation rather than a stimulant, really. And if you don't agree, just let me know in the comments. I'm ready to get into a very calm discussion. Also, one thing I wanted to mention, while I was doing research online, I did see that they had, there was people talking about having beer and other alcohol in the cafeterias in high school. Now, personally for me, I never really reached high school in the European education system, but they definitely had beer in the McDonald's there. Paying for the bathroom. Yes, you heard that correct and read that correct. Now, for me, it's not that weird since I've kind of grew up around that culture of putting a little like 50 cents into a machine every time I need to go take a little whiz. But I've heard of a lot of Americans that I met along the way that have kind of brought up complaints about this. And I guess I could see that, but also, how is it someone gonna clean that bathroom if they can't get paid for it, you know? That's just like a really clever way of doing that. And also maybe renovating it every once in a while, right? Yeah, but that's not all of them, of course. Sometimes they'll have free ones also, like in Germany, I think. So also another one about this is paying for food if you want to use the restroom at a cafe or at a restaurant. This is more of just a common courtesy to the facility owner, and not so much of like a legal standpoint, but you know, you don't want to just make a beeline straight for that bathroom and then risk the death glare from the owner. You know, that won't work out too well for you. Paying for bathrooms, you know, it does depend on the location. Sometimes in Germany you might pay for 50 cents. Sometimes in Italy you might have to pay 70 cents. It does depend on the location. I know in Switzerland I had to pay 70 cents, and so that's a little bit more pricier, but you know, what can you do? And also sometimes they wouldn't even have little machines because maybe they just couldn't afford it, but so they'll have little baskets that you'll just kind of put the coins in, and again, that just kind of comes down to common courtesy for the facility. Alright, so those are 5 things that I learned about in Europe. Let me know in the comments below if you thought some of them were interesting. Or maybe some of them you knew or you didn't know, and maybe let's try to drum up a discussion. You know, again, you know, I want to get into, you know, like a calm discussion. Alright, thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you next time.